Let's now look at some of the additional functions, particularly on the conversion and conditional expression. So conversion is when you want to convert a particular data type into a different one. Maybe you have it stored as a character in some table, but you want to make it into a number, and if all the number values are present in that particular column, then you can convert that into number and perform the computation. But if it is a character one, if it is a data type in that particular column is a character and you have stored as character, you cannot convert into a number. But if it is you have stored a number data as a character, then you can convert it. So that is as far as the conversion is concerned. There are functions to do that. And then there is a conditional expression. One thing, once I say conditions, conditional statement, in programming language it is very common, like if then, based on certain condition, if then loop is possible, or you'll have a for loop or a while to do a particular function. While loop, they call it while loop, for loop, it's all there in the programming language. Many people might not be aware, I mean particularly when you start afresh, people don't focus on this conditional expression, but it becomes handy, very handy, particularly to write all these SQL statements. When you are aware of such functions are available, conditional expressions are available in your SQL statement. So we will get into that and see. The first one is conversion. I'll just touch upon it. As I said, some of them that is what is called as implicit. Some of them can be converted into Oracle server can automatically convert varchar char to a number, varchar char to a date. In certain situations it can convert, but for example, if you give in the select statement higher date, because it's a date column, and if you are giving something like this 01 Jan, that is an implicit conversion. So that's an implicit conversion, and as I had discussed, char to number conversion succeed only when in the column where is defined as a varchar, but still you have stored a number, and to number function will work. So to number, to date, to char, you could use it to number of a particular, if it is something like a character but still it is a number, then you could use to number to explicitly convert that. So that's as far as the conversion is concerned. And then conditional expression, NVL is null, called null. Then there is null if is there, then case decode. Once we take the example, you will understand better. So this is the syntax. NVL of expression 1, expression 2 is a source value, and expression may contain a null value. And if it is there is no value, null value in the sense, no value in the sense, you will substitute with another value for that. So for example, if there is no department being assigned, then you can say null or something. So if a query returns just no values there, you can substitute with another value. So that's about the null value. You can use null function for any data, but the return value is always same as the data type of expression, that is expression 1. So that's about the null function, and here are the example. Suppose in the commission percentage is 0 in the for the particular row. When you retrieve it, you can say that you can make it as 0. You can substitute with a 0. And if it is higher date, there is higher date. When you select a higher date and there is no value in that, you can replace with an arbitrary value or stating that it is to be 1st Jan 97. And similarly, job ID, if there is no new joinee assigned or an intern who is assigned, and for the job ID there is no job assigned, so if there is, that is blank, then you can say NVL of job ID, no job is assigned. This could be better explained through an example. Let's take this example. Select last name, salary, NVL of commission 0, salary, then we are getting salary plus into 12 plus, and this is for the total salary. You are trying to get the commission also calculated and added up with the annual salary. If there is a value, yes, there is 12 times NVL, and if it is 0, I mean there is no value, null value is there, then you assign a 0 to it. So this part, the entire this part becomes a 0. So it will be almost the same. Annual salary will not have any changes. We'll take an example and then look at it. So first we'll go one by one. We'll look at the null function in the hands-on session and see how it works. Thank you. Stay tuned. Welcome back. So this time, I mean, instead of using a SQL developer, we'll just get into the Oracle Application Express and run those commands. So to do that, yeah, you need to get into the cloud.oracle.com, log into that, get into the whatever the autonomous database is created, get to that screen, and then open Apex. So once you do that, you need to enter the user ID and password. It will come up with a sign in. So whatever you had created initially, create space. I've created as DB user. So I'll be using DB user. Then your password. Sign in and then go to SQL and SQL commands, and here is where you have to execute. So select last name, salary, salary part, the commission part we are substituting with a, if it is null, then we are substituting with a 0, and then we are calculating the annual salary, but annual salary is by salary into 12 into the commission part we are multiplying. And if it is what happens is, if you try to run this function without an NVL command in it, it is because you can't multiply a null into 12, it will throw you an error, and that is where we need to use the NVL function. So so now I have executed the query. Last name, you have the salary, and wherever it is null, it is substituted with 0, and the salary into 12, it's all into 12 is what is multiplied, because there is no commission is placed. I mean the table has no values on it, so it is basically multiplied by 12. So what we'll do is, this is we'll probably, if you want to look at the change, then you can update one of the rows. Maybe we'll take Gochar, and it is 204K, so keep that in mind. We'll update one row and see what happens. Gochar is 101 employee ID, and I will run this. It is just to remember, it is 204K as far as Gochar is concerned. So before that, the commission part alone will run an update, one row updated. So now let's run this one, because it is no longer null, that field. You have some value, numeric value, and when we run it, yes, it is not 204K, it's 224K. So the commission part, this part is returning a value, because no longer it returns the value, because there is a numerical value of 0.1 is present. The rest of them is all null, whereas this one you have 0.1. So that way the value is different. That is salary into 12 plus the commission calculation happens, because here it is no longer NVL value, and 0 it will not substitute with a 0, it will substitute with a value, and it gets multiplied, and that's how you can work with the, and this is a kind of a condition in the select statement. You are using a condition saying that if it is, there is null value, then you have a 0. If not, if it has a value, then it gets multiplied with that value, subsequent value, and it gives you the result salary plus that part of the result. So that's how the NVL function works. Thank you. We will progress with a few other conditional statement. The other one is null if. So the null if, actually, if you look at it, there is a null if statement over here. And what it does is null if of expression 1, 2, if they are equal, then it returns a null. Then if it is equal, then it returns a null. If not, it returns the expression 1 of it. So if you look at the below one, 5, 4, they are not equal, then it returns a 5. Expression 1 is what is returned, is not the expression 2. Only when they are equal, null, when they are equal, here the function, if you look at it, it is a length. Length of that first name, length of that last name. Here it is 6, here it is 6, then it is null. Whereas here it is 4 and 5. So the first one is 5 and the next one is 4, and that is where you get a 5. 6, 6 is null. 3, 7, expression 1 is what is going to return. If you look at the, how it works, so it returns 3. And 5, 5, it is null, and 7, 5 is 7 because expression 1 is 7. So that's as far as the null if conditions are there. Then you have a case statement. Again, case expression is very common in PL SQL coding language, where if instead of using if then you use a case statement. So based on the if you look at it, case looks for the job ID, and job ID is IT programmer, and then we perform a computation for the salary. If it is job ID is clerk, you perform a computation. Job ID is sales rep, and then you perform a condition. So this is as far as the case expression is concerned. And finally, decode. Decode is based on the result, salary divided by 2000, whatever is the output. If it is 0, 2000 salary is just 2000, and 2000 by 2000, then it returns the tax rate is 0. If it is something like 4000, then it is then you have a 2 there. If it is 2000, it is 0.9. If it is 1000, something like 1000 or 500, it doesn't divide. You have a 0 over here. So 4000, it should get a 0.2 here, and then 6000 is 0.3, and so on. That's the tax rate. So decoding that, whatever depending upon the value you get, you assign the subsequent tax rate value over here. So these are some of the one is NVL function, which is very commonly used, and the other function which is commonly used is the case expression, which is used. Null is very commonly used, particularly in all the extract. If you want to pull out some information from different systems, you do an extract, and then you issue a select statement. You use a null NVL function to calculate something. If it is null value, then you probably use that for the computation. The other one is, as I said, case, and decode, sometimes you might use it. We'll quickly see that in the demonstration as well. So I have executed this one, the case statement which depends on job ID. Let's look at the IT programmer. The first one is king. No, IT programmer is over here, and IT programmer actual salary is 9,000, and 9,900 is the revised 0.1 multiplication. It's all fine. So there is we don't find sales rep. What we'll do is we will increase the column and re-execute and see whether we get a sales ST rep. ST clerk is there. So ST clerk, I think yeah, it is 1.15 multiplied, and you don't have sales rep is over here. So yeah, 10,000, here it is 12,000, that means 1.20. So that's as far as the case statement in select is concerned. And finally we'll see the decode as well. So let me execute decode, and yeah, here it is. So depending on the salary, let's say some of them 0.3 is what is 7,500. So 2000, it's anything value of 3, because 7,500 divided by 2000 is 3. That's where you get 0.3 over here. And then based on, if you take 10,000, it's 5, and you have 5 over here, 5 and 4.2, and that is what you get. So this is as far as the decode is, decode, not decade. Decode is concerned. You decode that value based on the value you get based on some function, whatever the value, output value, you then display the corresponding output value for that decoded results. So we saw NVL, and we saw NVL nullf, and then case, and then decode as well. All this, all these select statements are available. So if you want for practice and you want to change something and try it out, and that is a way you once you practice more and more, change some of the select statement columns or the computation, you might get some errors, and try to debug those errors. That will make you much more perfect as far as SQL is concerned. Thank you.